during the U.S. invasion of Iraq, caused many tragedies. John just got off the battlefield and wanted to have a cigarette and rest, but I heard calls for help. He slowly stepped forward curiously. I saw my comrade raping a woman. He is disgusted with war. Pull out the dagger without hesitation. Stabbing comrade. Then John handed the dagger to the woman. Regardless of the painful cries of his comrades, turn around and leave coldly. Let your comrades die under random swords. But there are unforeseen circumstances. John has just left home and is preparing to return to the team. The next second you encounter a sniper. Fortunately, the bullet penetrated the neck but was not fatal. Therefore, he was approved to return to China to recuperate, finally able to be with my wife and children. But he didn't know anything. This trip will cost him dozens of lives. Snowy Indian country. Jack drove thousands of miles away, came to a remote village, and standing at the door to greet him. It is John's wife whom he has not seen for many years, Sophie. It turned out that just a few days ago, his only son playing. Unfortunately, he was snatched away by wild wolves in the mountains. Still no body found, no news. And Jack is an animal expert who studies wolves. Maybe we can recover the bones and get rid of the wolves. I thought things were very simple, but an incredible scene happened that night. Almost gave Jack a heart attack. Sophie wears a horse head mask in the dark, staring at him naked. Before Jack can recover, he had already gotten into bed. She also tried to seduce Jack and strangled her to death. This left Jack at a loss and kept him awake all night. Early the next morning, Jack quickly packed up his equipment, go deep into the forest to look for wolves. After a whole day of hard tracking, finally found something before sunset. Wild wolves are feasting on their prey, but the body didn't look like a child. However, when he turned to leave, he stepped on. Skiing down the hill, the wolves not far away were immediately attracted, pounced towards Jack's position. Fortunately, the sniper rifle is not far away, but he didn't shoot. Just aim at the alpha wolf. Let the wolves retreat when faced with difficulties. It was this act of kindness. Let him survive the catastrophe in a few days. Jack, who gained nothing, dragging his tired body back to the village. But when he entered the house looking for Sophie, only to find that he had disappeared, he was puzzled. Suddenly I saw that the basement was unlocked, so I plucked up the courage to go check it out. Shocked at first sight, a body wrapped in a plastic bag in the corner. Wait for him to take a closer look. It's Sophie's missing son. It seems it's all a lie. It was he who strangled his own child to death with his own hands. Asking for help from yourself is just a cover-up. Sheriff Danny arrived on the scene quickly. Contact the headquarters to start a wanted search for Sophie, and notified John, who returned to China as soon as possible. Rushed to the morgue. Seeing my son's cold body, John felt extremely sad. As the saying goes, tiger poison cannot eat its seeds. I didn't expect Sophie to be so heartbroken, but now he has disappeared. The sheriff said there was nothing he could do about it. I can only issue a wanted notice and pray for good luck. Angry John was very dissatisfied with the police's handling. After losing his mind, he instantly turned black. After the sheriff and Jack leave, immediately go on a killing spree with your friends. John killed 2 police officers and a medical examiner. Take away your son's body at night. Go deep into the forest and dig a grave. Use ancient rituals to send your children to their graves. Wait until everything is settled. John returned home overnight. By looking through the police investigation report, it was discovered that Sophie had appeared on the Northern Highway. It seems that he must be hiding in the mountains and forests at this moment. John didn't dare delay at all. Take out the pistol from the cabinet. Crossbow arrows for hunting on the back. I vowed to cut Sophie into pieces. The next morning, Jack suddenly woke up from his sleep. He couldn't let go of the boy's death, so he drove back to the village. He wanted to check it out with the older woman. As soon as I entered the door, I saw a horrifying scene. Old woman's throat cut. Already cool. The bloody scene made him gag again and again. Before John left the village last night, once broke into an old woman's house. It turns out that John and Sophie are not locals. They settled here many years ago to hide an obscure secret. The two were originally brother and sister, but they got married against ethics. The old woman is the only local insider. At the same time, the morgue. The 3 people killed last night were also found. John is a soldier, not to be underestimated. The sergeant realized that the situation was serious. A police force of more than 20 people was quickly assembled, rushed to the village to capture John. But everyone has no idea. They will face a bloody killing, because John had already escaped overnight. The sheriff knocked on his friend's door, and advised him not to resist, so as not to be too embarrassed in front of my family. Unexpectedly, his attitude was very tough. Since my daughter was snatched away by a wolf 3 years ago, he asked the police for help more than once. Until today, my daughter is still dead, but her body has not been found. My wife can't bear the blow. End in depression. Let him become completely alone. Hatred of the police has reached its peak. Seeing that his emotions are about to lose control, the sheriff can only give up, prepare to attack. However, when he assigned the task, although the police have an advantage in numbers, But most of them are trainee police officers who have just graduated. There is no way to fight in such a situation. In addition, he holds a machine gun and is condescending. Just a few rounds of strafing caused huge casualties. The helpless Jack hurriedly hid under the car, watching the police officers fall one by one. Seeing that all my brothers are about to die, the sergeant led his men to take a detour. He had the rookie shoot at the window. I quietly touched the window on the first floor, but he arranged a lot of ghost mines. Cleaning one by one takes a lot of time, but this matter has already been terrible from the front. Rookie police officer tries to rescue teammate. The next second, he was shot through by a bullet. At this moment, Jack's blood surges. Regardless of the danger, he picked up the shotgun and sprayed it through the window. Move forward. While he was changing ammunition, try your best to drag the rookie to a blind corner. Fortunately, he finally regained his senses, but the police sergeant is already behind him with his gun drawn. He doesn't want to live with his family ruined. Find relief in bursts of gunfire. This fierce fight. 18 police officers were killed on the spot. The local police station was almost wiped out, and John used this time to follow Sophie all the way to a mine. He got the news from the hotel owner. Sophie was actually here a few days ago, but the location at this time is no longer known. The only useful clue, it was he who met a homeless man before he left. John came to the mine without stopping, learned that Sophie used his mask, changed to a pair of boots, heading towards the deepest part of the snow-capped mountains. A homeless man who has lost his value. Naturally, I couldn't escape John's vicious hands. The crisp sound of gunfire resounded through the valley. When he swaggers away, the hotel proprietress suddenly appeared with a rifle. Crazy shooting. To take her life. John was caught off guard and ran away, but he was still hit by a bullet in the shoulder. She was injured and about to fall into coma. Stumbled into Nick's garage. The two are good brothers who served together. A life-threatening friendship on the battlefield. Seeing John's embarrassed look, Nick quickly helped him deal with it. Let him have a good night's rest on the surface of the wound. In fact, I have already made plans in my mind. It turns out that after he retired from the army, I owe a lot of debt because of drugs. Just in time to report John, win the bounty to make up for the huge deficit. But I never expected it. He is on the phone with the police station, discovered by John, who wakes up, saw the dagger in John's hand. Nick immediately burst into tears and begged to be let go. But at this time, John was desperate. The sheriff's house on the other side. He and Jack were studying the case all night. Since John is hunting Sophie, just determine Sophie's location. Then we can seize the opportunity and capture the two of them in one fell swoop. According to the clues collected by the police station, they roughly guessed Sophie's destination. Sophie once mentioned to Jack, there is a hot spring cave hidden in the deepest part of the snow mountain. It's a date spot that he and John often go to. It seems likely that he is hiding there. The sergeant asked the police department for support the next day, but because Nick was killed and needed to be dealt with, no extra manpower, only a fully fueled aircraft can be provided. Although the two of them knew that this trip was extremely dangerous, but still decided to go to the hot spring cave. After an hour's flight, they successfully arrived at their destination. With his excellent driving skills, the police sergeant, a near miss landing on thick ice. After hiking for more than 10 kilometers, the two finally arrived at the valley where the hot spring is located. But just then, Jack suddenly saw something in the woods. When he picked up the telescope to confirm, Sheriff shot through the neck with bow and arrow. Suddenly there was blood all over the ground. At stake, a sense of fear instantly spread throughout Jack's body, and the elusive John then disappeared again without a trace. Jack, who has no choice but to fight against the odds, hurry up and find the hot spring with your sniper rifle. Hard work pays off. Finally walked into the mountain before John. The hole was just as he expected. As expected, Sophie is hiding here. He advised Sophie to leave with him immediately, otherwise, he will die at the hands of John. However, the words have not yet fallen. John is extremely cruel. He went straight forward to avenge his son. Sophie was about to suffocate to death. Jack is overwhelmed. He thought that Sophie would die. Unexpectedly, the plot suddenly reversed. John not only let go of Sophie, she also used all her strength to get intimate with him. It turns out that their child is terminally ill. The reason why Sophie sent the child away with her own hands, not only to help children get rid of pain and torture, it's just to take advantage of the child's death, stung John's numb heart, awakening his lost humanity. John, before serving in the military, not only did he teach his son how to hunt, he even instigated him to kill people for fun. The past few days have also been filled with sins. He's a murderous demon who doesn't blink an eye, although paying a huge price, but his goal was finally achieved. Jack also saved his life. After John and Sophie leave, Jack used all his strength to crawl towards the snow. In a daze, the wolves he encountered before surrounded him, but the amazing thing is, the wolves thought that he didn't shoot last time, didn't hurt him either, and not long after, a father and son hunting nearby, rescue the dying Jack in time. Meanwhile John, the two quietly dug up the child's coffin, heading to the next hiding place, start a new life where they are despised by the world.